Welcome back to the county seat. Our topic today is the Snake Valley water issue that has been taking place out in Nevada over the last several years, and the impacts that it could possibly have on the state of Utah. Joining us for our panel discussion today is Phil Gardner from the U.S. Geological Survey. He's been doing quite a bit of research out there. John Harja, who's the director of the Public Lands Office, the Office of the Governor. Did I get that all right, John?
That's close enough.
Big, long title. And you said it could have even been longer, huh?
It could have been longer, but it didn't.
And Daron Smith, the Millard County Commissioner. Let's start with you. Your county is probably more impacted by this than either the Tooele or Juab or the other counties around you, because it's pretty much straight west of you. Is that correct?
That's correct. The Snake Valley, a lot of the Snake Valley sits in Utah. It's where kind of the valley starts, in Millard County. The north end of Snake Valley is in our county, and there's a large area out there that is in our county, so it's a huge issue to us.
Now, when this whole thing started, I mean, the perception that people had in Utah, as they were just reading the press, and John, this is probably one for you to answer, is that Nevada, because the gal that was in charge of the Water Conservancy District of Southern Nevada, was pretty aggressive about things. And, you know, my impression, as I was just an armchair observer at that time, was that we're being sold down the river a bill of goods real quick. From representing the state, are you comfortable with where this whole thing has gone as they've negotiated it out?
Well, you have to remember that the state of Nevada is entitled to a portion of the water in the valley if it's otherwise available for their needs, and they can use it locally or they can consider exporting it to places like Las Vegas. Our position is you can do that and take your water, Nevada's water. You may not take any of Utah's water. So we've been defending our water and our interests from the possible use of it.
And how do you know when the glass is half empty? That's a question for you, Phil.
Yeah, trying to make sense of how these aquifer systems work is difficult because you're always trying to make estimates on things you can't see. Fortunately, because of the amount of attention that this issue has brought upon the Snake Valley area, a lot of science has been done in the last few years, and there's a lot of information that wasn't previously available. So we're working now to put that together and make the best estimates we can of these things we cannot see.
Have they changed a lot from when you first started? Is there more or less water than you thought out there?
I don't think we're at the point where we really know yet. What we know is that the area has been studied since the 60s, and for instance, the estimate of annual recharge or replenishment to the aquifer ranges between 100 and 140,000 acre-feet per year. And so trying to narrow that uncertainty down, I think, would play an important part in future groundwater management.
How will you know if it's all estimates and you sign an agreement, and the agreement, John, I suppose is just going to be a percentage, or is it going to be a fixed amount?
No, it's a percentage of the available water from Snake Valley, and of course we have to consider whether there's a connection between Spring Valley and Snake Valley, but each side would be entitled to a percentage of the available water, and the available water has to be recharged every year. So this is not groundwater mining. We don't allow that. On top of that, we are concerned about the effects of too much pumping. You might have the vegetation dry up and get too much dust. So we had an agreement that specified what could happen if those environmental things started to happen.
So there are some, that was my concern, is that you'd come up with an agreement and you'd start on that agreement, and then the damage would already have been done and the aquifer would be depleted before you realized that it was happening. And then you'd have like a dust bowl and you'd see Henry Fond out there on a truck. And
the agreement was designed, although we didn't have every trigger point, you might call them, set. The agreement was designed to continue to put that together. And the idea was exactly what you say. If the trigger point is reached, indicating something untoward is happening, management actions would follow, which would correct the issue. And so the Nevada Water Authority did allow that one of those actions might be to shut off the pumps.
Okay, so from your standpoint, it could rehabilitate. If they pull too much water out, it would come back?
It's hard to say. The current state of understanding, or at the current state of understanding, there have been some sort of backdoor simple models and estimates done showing that it's possible that if the monitoring network that's in place now were to recognize these impacts occurring, it may be far enough from where the withdrawal is occurring that rehabilitation could take a serious amount of time.
So you could drain it quickly, and it would take years for it to rebuild if it got out in front of itself.
Yeah, quickly is relative. I mean, I guess what we're talking about are magnitudes like it may be drainable in decades and take much longer to recover.
Well, Daron, you get out in the west part of your county, the home of great American icons like Cecil Garland and the group out there. You know, the folks 40 miles apart in Callio. But how are they feeling about this all now at this point?
Well, you know, they're very worried. I guess from the county standpoint, what we've tried to do in this whole issue is protect their way of life, which is very important to them. They feel right now that the ecosystem out there is in balance. They rely on the water right now to really supply their livelihoods. It's in agricultural communities mostly, and they know and they can see right now that they think that the system is in balance, and they fear that pumping any water out of the valley will have a negative impact on their operations and their way of life. And so they're very concerned. You know, they want to make sure that the data is there so that they can be protected in the future if there is a negative impact to them, that they can be protected, and that the county and the state of Utah will stand behind them and protect them.
Well, John, what happened? I mean, apparently it's kind of a little bit on hold, and there's been somebody bought some time in this process instead of water. How'd that happen?
Essentially what happened is Nevada and Utah were negotiating an agreement that's required by federal law. People were commenting on that. We had a huge amount of comment, all very positive in the sense that they were responsive. But the Nevada Supreme Court decided that the Nevada water engineer had misplayed some of the dates and basically cast doubt on the priorities granted by Nevada water law. Our agreement was based on those priorities, and so when the basis of the agreement was yanked, we had to back up and wait. And so we're still waiting for Nevada to resolve those issues.
And how much time do you think that'll actually buy? Anyone want to venture a guess?
Well, they're restarting the hearings now. They're going back to the original hearings they did in Spring, Cave, Delamar valleys further west. They're just now getting to those this year, 2011. And Snake Valley might not even occur for 10 years. They might not have a hearing there or not. So it could be quite a while.
So what do you think a good agreement is? Do you know what it is yet? Do we know?
In principle, it's one that defends our water, which keeps the water in Utah that we're entitled to, and allows Nevada, should it choose to use its water, and has enough triggers in it that if any groundwater withdrawals, pumping, starts to cause bad environmental effects, that we can stop it or mitigate it. And that means endangered fish. There's fish in the ponds, out in the lakes out there in the West Valley, in the West Desert. It means no areas that could generate dust that would blow up to the Salt Lake Valley. So all of it's there. That's the kind of thing we need.
Stay with us. We'll be back with more of The County Seat right here on ABC4, and we'll continue our discussion then.
St. George, Utah was recently named TripAdvisor's #1 travel hotspot, and travelers picked Zion National Park as the best national park. If you haven't planned your St. George or Zion getaway yet, visit atozion.com and find out why everyone else is already packing.
Won't you come and play with me?
St. George, Utah. Everything from A to Zion.
What are the words that describe the perfect destination? Finding them all in one place is easy if you know where to look. Millard County in the heart of Utah offers ATV adventures, rock crawling events, art festivals, and nature at its most epic. Millard County, Utah. Find out what you've been searching for.
Native Americans called it the land of the sleeping rainbow. It's a place of unparalleled enchantment, where history, splendor, and industry meet. We call it Sevier County. Experience the Paiute Trail by ATV. Explore 7 national parks, all within a few hours' drive. Gaze down at the world from an entirely new perspective. Join us in Sevier County and discover real Utah. Come, explore the Paiute Trail and beyond.